Adventurous kids explore with education and learning what a wildlife is in the Everglades. I want to explore the Museum of Discovering Science. What plants do butterflies like? I want to know about Key West. Adventurous kids, learning and fun. Adventurous kids!
Today I'm going to tell you about feudalism. Feudalism was a social system that developed during the period called the Middle Ages in Europe from about 1000 to 1300. In feudalism, people who owned land controlled who they gave it to, and the riches the land gave back. The word feudal comes from a Latin term for fief, large area of land. Under the feudal system, land was granted to people for service. It started at the top, with the king granting his land to a baron, for soldiers all the way down for a peasant getting land to grow crops. The structure of feudal society was like a pyramid. At the very top sits the king with a lot of power. The king could not control all the land by himself, so he divided it up among the barons. In return, the barons pledged their loyalty and soldiers to the king. The kings believed they were given the right to rule by God. This was called divine right. Next came the most powerful vassals. They were wealthy landowners such as nobles and bishops. The bishop was the top church leader in the kingdom and managed an area called the diocese. The Catholic Church was very powerful in most parts of medieval Europe. This made the bishop powerful as well. The barons and high-ranking nobles ruled large areas of land called fiefs. They reported directly to the king and were very powerful. They divided up their land among lords who ran individual manors. Their job was to maintain an army that was at the king's service. If they did not have an army, sometimes they would pay the king a tax instead. This tax was called shield money. The lords ran the local manors. A manor was where the lord lived. It is on an estate. During the Middle Ages, that was how people made their living. They also were the king's knights and could be called into battle at any moment by their baron. Knights rode horses and pledged to defend their lord's land in exchange for fiefs. The lords owned everything on their land, including the peasants, crops, and village. There was a group of people at the bottom of the pyramid called peasants or serfs. Common people called peasants were at the bottom of the feudal society. They farmed the land and did the other work that supported the lords and vassals. Peasants called serfs lived in a village near the lord's castle. They were not slaves, but they were not free to move away. They owed the lord work and payments of food. In return, they got protection from outside attackers. About 90% of the people living in the Middle Ages were peasants. Feudalism developed in times of violence and disorder. The new system brought safety and order. This allowed people to travel and to establish trade. People became more wealthy and money was used more frequently. Eventually, vassals started to pay rent to their lords instead of giving military service. Many lords used the money to hire professional soldiers instead of depending on knights. By the 1300s, feudalism had disappeared almost completely. Europeans created new forms of government that were not based on the fief. Monarchies or ruled by kings grew stronger. However, traces of feudalism stayed in Europe for hundreds of years. Peasants in France owned duties to large landowners until the French Revolution, which started in 1789. In Russia, the serfs did not gain freedom until 1861. Thanks for watching this Adventurous Kids episode.
What did you learn today?
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
What was the most interesting fact?
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
Adventurous Kids!
Yeah!